Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and this channel is all about health, wellness, and designing your dream life. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what you need to do if you're not losing weight, even if you're on a diet and even if you're exercising. So I'm in a few different weight loss groups on Facebook, and one of the questions that I see come up a lot is why you seem to be doing everything right, but you're not losing weight. If you're eating healthy and you're going to the gym, you're getting enough sleep, you're drinking enough water, and you're still not seeing any progress, then this video is definitely for you. So just quickly at the beginning of this video, I'm just going to be going over a few of the basic things that you need to be doing to get yourself started. And if you're already doing those things, then keep on watching because I'm going to be going into the reasons why you're not losing weight if you're already doing everything that you need to be doing, and then what exactly you can be doing to help progress your weight loss. Okay, so here are the first few things that you need to be doing. These are the very, very basic things. So you need to make sure that you're eating the right portion sizes. If you're not sure what portion sizes you should be eating, then I have a YouTube video called How to Make a Healthy and Balanced Meal, and I will link it up here so that you can watch that one first. You also need to be moving your body consistently. Now that's gonna look different for everybody, but if you find that you are sedentary for all of your day at work and then you come home and you're just laying on the couch, then that's something that you need to be working on first before we get into these other tips. The third thing is that you need to be focusing on eating healthy foods. So if right now you're in a restricted calorie diet, but you're eating mostly junk food, then that's something that you want to address first. You want to move your diet towards a healthier diet. Okay, and the last thing is that you want to be making sure that you're getting enough sleep and enough water. If any of those things that I've just said that you're like, oh, I'm not really sure if I'm, getting that 100% or if I'm nailing that, then go back and watch some of my other videos and be doing those things first. And then if you're still struggling, if you think that you're doing all of those things right and things just still aren't working out for you, then keep watching. We're going to get more into depth with these. Okay, so you're doing all of those things, you're eating right, your portion sizes are great, you're moving your body, but you still feel like you're hitting a plateau or you're just not losing weight. So these are the 5 reasons why you might not be losing weight. So the first thing is that you're exercising too much and you're restricting your calories too much. So you've got high energy output and low energy input. And what this means is that our bodies are essentially going into survival mode. Our bodies think that we're not getting enough food and we're moving too much. So essentially our brains think that we've been out hunting and gathering all day. We've been expending all of this energy trying to go out and find food. Okay, so that's the excessive physical activity and excessive energy expenditure. Okay, so our brain thinks that we've been out hunting and gathering, but we're not eating very much, so maybe that means that we haven't found food. Okay, so that's where the restrictive dieting comes in. Our bodies think that there's not enough food. So our body has this survival mechanism. It thinks that we're moving too much, we're trying to find food, but we're not finding any because we're not eating enough. So our body starts freaking out, thinking, there's not enough food, we need to hold on to the energy that we have, which means that it triggers our body to store fat and hang on to fat. Because without food, that is our energy source. We just need to have enough energy within our own bodies to go out the next day and try and find food again. Now, obviously today, that's not the case. That is not what's happening. We can go out to the grocery store and we can find food. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that when you're restricting too much and you're exercising too much, our bodies go into survival mode and think that we are not safe and we need to hold on to fat. The second thing that happens is our metabolism slows down. So this is what's called metabolic adaptation. Our metabolism senses that something's going on and it needs to slow down in order to conserve more energy. So there are lots of different things that we're doing that we're not really conscious of that affect our metabolism. So some of these things happen just inside our bodies and they happen automatically. Some of them are things like fidgeting, like if we're in that survival mode, our bodies will stop fidgeting so much so that we burn less calories. So when we think about metabolic adaptation, it's really important to consider that when you're using your activity tracker, so let's say you have a smartwatch or something like a Garmin that is tracking your calories burned, or even if you go to the gym and you use a piece of equipment that has calorie tracking on it. Now, obviously everybody has different metabolisms, which means we all burn calories differently. So what your watch is telling you or what the treadmill's telling you isn't going to be what you actually burned. So if your metabolism has slowed and the treadmill's telling you that you burned 200 calories, well, that for you might actually be way less than that. So you think that you've burned a certain amount and you might be tracking that in your MyFitnessPal or whatever you use, but you actually haven't burned that many calories because of this metabolic adaptation. Okay, the third thing that relates to that is that you are counting calories. So chances are if you're on any kind of diet program, they're getting you to count calories. And while I do think that there are some benefits to counting calories in that it makes you more aware of what you're actually eating, there's a huge downside to tracking calories, and that is that it's really not that accurate. So for example, the FDA allows a 20% margin of error on labels. That means that if you look at the label of something that you're eating, those calories can be off by as much as 20%. So you really have no idea how much you're actually eating. There can be errors between what you actually track yourself or errors within the app. I know that in my past, when I tracked calories, I would put in something like a cup of rice, and there would be so much variability between the different selections that you would hit for 1 cup of rice. Some could be 200 calories, some could be 500 calories. You have no idea. A really good example of this is a video by Casey Neistat. So his video is called The Truth Behind Calorie Labels. And essentially what he did in this video is that he took a whole bunch of different foods and recorded what the label said or what the menu said of how many calories was supposed to be in that food. And then he worked with a food scientist to determine how many calories were actually in that food. So the difference between the reported and the actual amount of calories. And there was huge differences between a lot of the different foods. So again, you could be reading the menu saying, okay, well, I'm going to order this because it's got this many calories, but in actuality, it could be very wrong. So basically, when you're counting calories, you need to be aware of the fact that it could be very wrong. There's no way to actually know for sure how many calories you're eating. So you could be eating way less or way more and not know it, and then be struggling to figure out why you're not losing weight when you have no idea how much you're actually eating. So based off of this, what I try to recommend is that you listen to your body and figure out, when am I actually hungry? When am I actually eating just because I'm bored? And start to listen to your body's hunger signals. Okay, the fourth thing that I want to talk about is insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance. And this is way more important than calories. So what do I mean by this insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance? So it's how your body reacts when you eat foods. It's how much insulin your body releases in response to elevated blood glucose level. So when we eat something, if it has glucose in it, it causes our blood sugar to spike. Then our body releases insulin, and insulin is a fat storage hormone. So if we have a high blood glucose level, then our insulin will store all that excess energy as fat. And we all know that high sugar foods will cause this spike in insulin and cause us to store fat. But the problem is that a lot of the foods that we consider to be healthy will also spike your blood sugar. And for everybody, it's different. Something that causes my blood sugar to rise might not cause your blood sugar to rise. So even if you're avoiding soda and cookies and junk food, you still might be eating other foods that are causing your blood sugar to spike. So things like artificial sweeteners, you might be sticking away from sugar, but artificial sweeteners can also have the same effect. Things like non-dairy milk, if you're always putting almond milk or soy milk into your coffee or your other meals, that can also cause your blood sugar to spike. Things like pasta, beets, carrots, corn, bananas, and grapes. All of those things can cause your blood sugar to spike. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to completely avoid those foods. Remember that the nutrition content of those foods is still important. But it is just important to keep in mind that everybody has different responses to different foods. So you might actually be eating something that's causing a spike in your blood sugar and not even realize it. Even things with high saturated fat content like red meat, cheese, and fried foods. Another thing to mention here, because I know a lot of people are into intermittent fasting, that there has been research that shows if you skip breakfast, that you have a higher level of blood glucose throughout the rest of the day. So if you're not really sure what's spiking your blood glucose levels, I would try to think about how you feel when you're eating and after you're eating those foods. If you're finding that you have a spike in energy and then a crash, then pay attention to what you've been eating. And you can also be wearing something like a continuous blood glucose monitor to help track that. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about before we dive into what you can actually be doing is that you're trying to change too much too fast. Let's say you've got an event coming up and you really want to lose weight for that event and it's a month or two away. You're going to be trying to do weight loss hacks and tips and tricks that will not be sustainable in the long run, which means that, yeah, you might lose some weight initially, but you're going to end up reverting back to what you were doing before because it's not sustainable. And then you're going to gain all of that weight back and maybe even more. So you want to make slow changes, just change one thing at a time, and think about how you want to look and feel in the long run, not just for that wedding that's in a couple of months. How do you want to feel a year from now? Okay, so the second half of this video, and I know that this is all what you guys have been waiting for. If you found this valuable so far, I would like you to hit that subscribe button down below because I upload 2 new videos just like this one every single week. And comment down below what was something that surprised you about why you're not losing weight. Okay, so here are the 5 changes that you can be making to help you to lose your weight. The main sort of theme behind all of these 5 things is that we need to make our bodies feel safe. We need to make it feel like we're in a period of abundance, like there's just lots of everything around, and that we don't need to worry about calorie restriction. Okay, so the first thing is that you're going to slowly increase your calories. And this is really important because if you increase your calories too quickly, and if you were in a calorie restricted diet for too long or for too little calories, there's such thing as a refeeding syndrome, and that can actually be really unsafe. So slowly increasing your calories. And by slowly, I mean like 100 calories per month increase. So if you're on a 1200 calorie diet right now, over the next month, you want to aim for around 1300 calories. So what this actually does is it tells our body that we don't need to worry about food. There's lots of food around. We can eat lots of food. And that will help to shift our metabolism from that starvation mode, that metabolic adaptation, to actually matching our calorie expenditure. Now, what this will mean is that we are increasing our calories, which means that we will have a period of small amount of weight gain to begin with. Do not freak out. It's fine. It doesn't mean that you're going to keep gaining weight. We just need our body to readjust to what's going on. So slowly increase your calories until you get to the amount that you should be eating for your height and your weight and your activity level. So for most people, that's going to be around that 2000 calorie mark, depending on, your age, how tall you are, how muscular you are, and how much activity you actually do. The second thing is that you want to focus on resistance training and reducing your cardio, especially if you're somebody who right now you're doing cardio like 6 days a week. That's way too much. So you want to be doing enough cardio that you're still getting those cardiorespiratory benefits. You're not letting your cardiorespiratory system fade. So even just getting those 1 to 2 sessions per week of cardio fitness is enough. And then the rest should be focusing on resistance training. So if you look at a lot of the videos on YouTube on like at-home workouts or weight loss workouts, a lot of them are just body weight. And if you're somebody who's really unfit, really overweight, then yeah, that's a good place to start. But if you're somebody who right now can, get up off the floor from a kneeling position, fine, and you can carry your groceries in from the store, no problem, then you need to be adding in resistance training. The importance of this is that it helps our muscles to grow, which means that it helps develop new mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell, which means that the more mitochondria that we have, the more ability we have to burn calories. So muscle equals having more energy expenditure. So focus on growing your muscles. You won't get bulky. It's okay. It happens slowly. Just keep going, but you need to be lifting weights. Okay, the next thing, and this is probably one of the most important things, and what I love to talk about on this channel, is that you need to work on your mindset. So this is your mindset around your relationship with food, the relationship with your body, the way that you cope with stress and with negative emotions. The more that you can feel happy and grateful and stress-free, the more safe that your body's gonna feel, and the less that it'll feel like it needs to release cortisol and hold on to body fat. The fourth thing, which I kind of touched on a little bit, is sleep. So again, if we are in a state of survival mode, then we're not likely getting enough sleep, meaning that, we need to be aware of the dangers around us when we're sleeping outside in a cave and we're not sleeping well, that sort of stuff. So if we tell our bodies, actually, we're safe, we can sleep soundly throughout the night and not have to stress about anything, then again, that's gonna make our body feel safe and not hold on to fat. And the final thing that I wanna touch on is make sure that you're getting all of the nutrients that you need. I would focus on nutrients first. So I'm not gonna say that you can't ever eat any junk food ever again. That's not realistic, not sustainable. And I eat junk food all the time, so it's yummy, I'm gonna admit that. But we need to focus on getting all of the vitamins, the nutrients, fueling our body. Make sure that we're doing that first. So it's where that 80-20 rule comes in. So 80% of our calories should be healthy foods, and then 20% can be the fun foods. So if you want to have a piece of cake, have a piece of cake, but make sure you have a healthy, nutritious meal beforehand, and then you can eat your cake. Okay, so if you like this video, if you found it helpful, please hit that like button. It really supports my channel, and subscribe, because I upload 2 new videos every single week all about health and fitness and wellness and mindset and habits and all that good stuff. And I would love to have you as part of our community. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.